Chapter Mumtahina, the examined, background migration, Hudaybiyah and the problem. Prophet Muhammad saw a dream of going for Hajj. When people migrated from Mecca to Medina, they left behind all their belongings and families in Mecca. This was the Prophet's dream in which they were going for Hajj, but no year was specified in it. So the Prophet Muhammad set out for Hajj that same year. Later, when the Prophet Muhammad and his companions came for Hajj and reached the place of Hudaybiyah, the disbelievers stopped them and said they couldn't travel forward to Mecca. The Prophet Muhammad and his followers were very angry at this. Negotiations began to solve the problem. Uthman bin Affan was sent as an ambassador to Mecca. A false rumor spread that Uthman had been martyred upon this. That there was the one pledge of prayer took place that if the news was true, the Muslims would fight. Some believers whose assets and families were still in Mecca felt insecure. One believer, Hatib ibn Abi Balta, secretly sent a letter to his family's guardians in Mecca through a woman who was traveling there for Hudaybiyah. Many people from Mecca, secretly believers, wanted to join the Prophet Muhammad in Medina. These includes converted men and a woman. This woman was one of them. Allah revealed the situation to the Prophet Muhammad. The woman was on her way back when a detachment, including Ali, Zubair, and Miqdad al-Islam, met her at Ruwada Kak, the garden of Kak. She matched the description given. At first she denied having anything. Then Ali al-Islam spoke firmly and said, "The Prophet of Allah never lies. We will search you thoroughly." At that point she took the letter out from her hair and gave it. The letter was brought to Prophet Muhammad and Hatib was also summoned. When investigated, Hatib explained, "I have no blood relative in Mecca to protect my family. I only wanted to do them a favor so Quraysh wouldn't harm my family. I didn't do it out of disbelief or apostasy. I only informed them of the battle plan." Umar said to the Prophet Muhammad, "Give me permission to kill him." The Prophet Muhammad replied, "He is from the people of Badr, and you don't know. Perhaps Allah has looked upon the people of Badr and said, 'Do as you wish, for I have forgiven you. Let him go. He is telling the truth.'" In Bukhari 4274 and Muslim 2494. In this case, the woman carrying the letter was a spy among those who had converted and came. There were man and woman. War didn't happen because Uthman al-Islam had not been killed. It was just a rumor. When Uthman returned to the Prophet Muhammad, the disbelievers had conditions. Uthman al-Islam explained the reason of his delay. "I wanted to stay among my family and understand all matters in detail to get complete information." They offered Uthman to perform Hajj alone, but he said, "I will only do it with Prophet Muhammad." That was the treaty in which males had to be returned and the Muslim wouldn't perform Hajj this year but next year. When the Messenger of Allah made peace with the people of Hudaybiyah, Hazrat Ali al-Islam wrote the treaty between them, and he wrote Muhammad Rasulullah. The polytheist said, "Don't write Muhammad Rasulullah. If you were a messenger, we would not have fought you, but write Muhammad bin Abdullah." So the Prophet Muhammad said to Ali, "Erase Rasulullah." Ali said, "No, by Allah, I will never erase your name." So the messenger of Allah took the document and he didn't know how to write. Then Prophet wrote, "This is what Muhammad bin Abdullah has made peace upon." Then Allah reveals verse 10:11, decided the ruling of women. Males were returned under the treaty terms. For females, Allah revealed verses that women are not to be returned. Instead, the amount spent on them should be given back. in Quran. Hadith, it is reported, when these verses were revealed, Hazrat Umar divorced his two wives who were polytheists in Mecca. This means it became forbidden to keep disbelieving women in marriage, and the command was given to demand back what had been spent on her. Another hadith, Aisha said, the Messenger of Allah used to test them with these verses. He would make them swear that they came out of love for Allah and His Messenger and desire for Islam, not out of hatred for their husbands or love for a Muslim man. When they swore, he would accept their pledge. Aisha said, by Allah, the Messenger of Allah never touched the hand of a woman during the pledge. Prophet only took the pledge from them verbally. And Bukhari 4891 and a Muslim 1866. This is show the order of Allah was not to be ignored. It's a man investment, so secure it, and the disbelievers were given the amount for converted women. When the writing of the treaty was completed, the Messenger of Allah said to his companion, get up, slaughter your sacrifices, and then shave your heads. The narrator says, by Allah, not a single man among them got up until he had said that 3 times. When none of them got up, Prophet entered upon Salma salam and mentioned to her how the people were behaving. Salma said, O Prophet of Allah, do you want that? Go out and don't speak a word to any of them until you slaughter your camel and call your Baba and he shaves your head. So Prophet went out and they didn't speak to any of them until he did that. Prophet slaughtered his camel and called his Baba and he shaved his head. When the people saw that, they got up and slaughtered, and they began shaving one another until in the intensity of grief they nearly killed one another. Prophet's hadith on a woman. The Prophet said, the word is enjoyment, and the best enjoyment of the word is righteous woman. Muslim 1467. In the Bukhari 2731, the Prophet should remove his hair himself, then they will do it. This is that same incident. The companions were in grief and anguish that they had to return without performing Umrah Hajj. When the Prophet demonstrated it by acting himself, they all immediately followed. Say Bukhari 2711, 2712, among the conditions of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was that to any man who came to Medina from Mecca would be returned, but there was no mention of woman. When Kulthum bin Uqba bin Abi Muayyad migrated and came to Medina, her brother came to take her back. The Prophet refused to return her, as this verse was revealed. Say Bukhari 2620 and Muslim 1003, Hazrat Asma bint Abi Bakr said that during the time of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, my polytheist mother Qutayla came to Medina bringing gifts. I asked the Prophet, should I maintain ties of kinship with her? The Prophet said, yes. Maintain ties with your mother, as verse 4 of Surah Mumtahina. To guide the believers on the correct way, Allah revealed the opening verse of Surah Al-Mumtahina and gave the example of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam left his family, his father, his entire nation for the sake of his Lord. Ibrahim had no fear of losing everything for Allah. Ibrahim only thought, I will ask my Lord for my father's forgiveness. He had no personal will. Whatever decision that there was, it was Allah's. He said Ibrahim would not rejoin his people until they believe in one Lord. The lesson believers must also have this strong trust in Allah. This is Allah's ways, this kind of belief. This is how Allah resolved the social problems of marriage and unmarried women, migration, and financial rights during conflicts. The Quran forbids forgiving or waiving this amount. It obliges us to apply this rule strictly even if we have to fight for it. This is not just for female security, it's also male security for what they spend on a human being. Believers fear Allah and don't do such acts. They follow Allah's rules. Surah Mumtahana, verse 10-11. These verses directly address the scenario of women living in community for another after marriage and the financial ruling around mahar amount expenses. Why is mahar fixed? Mahar is a gift obligation from husband to wife and nikah. It's called ujurahunna, their due compensation. It becomes their property. Fixing it protects the woman's financial right, and it's also become a measurable liability if the marriage breaks due to one party's fault. If a woman runs away, what's the ruling? The Quran doesn't say to kill the other man or woman or forcefully take the woman back. The ruling is financial. Don't return the woman if she came as a believer, but give the disbelievers what they spent, meaning the previous husband amount must be repaid to him. Fight for the money, not the moment. If Muslim lost wives to disbelievers and later got war booty or compensation like commands, then give those whose wives have gone the equivalent of what they have spent. So the husband is compensated his financial loss. Converted Muslim female case, same rule. If a disbelieving woman accepts Islam and migrate, Muslim keep her and marry her with new mahar, but her previous disbelieving husband must be paid back what he spent on her. Or if she was unmarried, compensation is paid to his family for what was spent. Conversely, hold not to marriage bond with disbelieving woman, but ask for what you have spent. If your wife leaves Islam and goes to disbelievers, you demand back your spending. Is forgiving the amount allowed? No. The verse called it hukmullah, the judgment of Allah. It's legal order, not optional. ذَلِكُمْ حُكْمُ اللَّهِ يَحْكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ, and verse 11 ends with وَاتَّقُوا and fear Allah. Believers don't ignore it. Is this only for female security? No. As mentioned, it's also male security. The Quran ensures the man who spends wealth on a woman doesn't lose it unfairly. Both sides can ask for what they have spent. It's financial justice for human spending on humans. This was revealed after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, when women started migrating to Medina, and it became the international law of marriage mahar between Muslim and non-Muslim at that time. In the last verse, Allah guides never follow the disbeliever.